How's it going, guys? Thank you so much for being here. Please do me a favor. This costs you absolutely nothing, and it helps me immensely. Please make sure that if you're listening to this podcast that you follow everywhere you listen to podcasts, download them as they come out, and leave a review if it is possible where you get your podcast from. And also share this. Tweet it. Throw it on Facebook, put it on your Instagram story, whatever that may be. No matter how many followers you have, that helps me out immensely. That shows the algorithm that people are sharing this and copying the link and pasting it elsewhere. It helps the algorithm out a bunch in a way that I can't explain or really understand, but it is a thing that helps, and I would certainly appreciate it if you do that. And the same if you are watching this video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified in moments when we post a new video like this or when we go live. And also share the thing. Put it out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever it is you share stuff. Do that with these videos, please, for the same reason. It just helps out the algorithm immensely. In this episode, I talk about some things that I realize about myself that aren't the best. And in most of these episodes, I kind of have been having these moments of realization where I'm not proud of something that I admit, but I'm admitting something that I've never really said publicly. And this one is no different. I'd definitely say a big one of those things in this one. And it's something that I kind of keep closely guarded about myself because I realize that I have this tendency. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you guys with the intro because we got an hour's worth of talking coming up, and I appreciate you guys showing up to listen to this thing. With everything that I said in the beginning, like the video, share all of the stuff everywhere, really trying to do this. And I think I come back in the end of the episode and say that I apologize for shilling for the memberships or the Frankie tips and stuff like that, but just I'm really trying to make this thing self-sustainable, and we've succeeded in that. It's paying for itself now. Like, we're making enough money every month to pay for the podcast uploading stuff, and my next goal is to get Reaper recording software so that I can start recording my own music here in my room again and letting someone else mix them. But I'm also going to try to, in my movie editor, which I've already bought, I'm trying to buy the upgraded version of that as well so that the edits come out a little better. And with that, the Patreon is a thing. The YouTube membership is a thing. The Frankie tips are the top link in the description. And those Frankie tips, they come straight to me. They don't go anywhere else or have to meet any sort of threshold to be paid out. And also, they don't have to pay the 30% cut that YouTube takes when there are super chats or any of the memberships or anything like that. So if you guys want to do that, it would help. And once again, sorry to have shilled all this nonsense, but I've been on this, like I said at the end of this episode, I've been trying to become monetized for so long that I'd be stupid not to bring this stuff up. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you anymore. Guys, thank you so much for being here. This is, I believe, episode number 9 or 10. Is it number 9? I think it's number 9. Episode number 9 of Yonder Talks. Enjoy, folks. Yeah, I've been doing pretty good. It's been nice lately to step back a little bit and just take in all of the portions of my life at once rather than focusing on one thing. There's a bit of wisdom in this old saying that I'm not sure exactly how it goes, and I'm not going to try to eloquently put it. I'm just going to explain the thing. People are like, you could go out and you could have an incredible day, but just a couple of bad minutes or one bad situation or one negative. You could have all positive interactions throughout the day, but one negative interaction that you have can just really eat you away. And I'm terrible about that. I'll have everything going for me, you know, and currently feel to be living the life that I always wanted to live. And excuse me, I will, like, everything will be going right, but then one little terrible interaction will just throw a monkey wrench on my entire mentality. And I'm not proud of that fact about myself, but I don't know that that's exclusive to me. I think everyone can relate to this, or most everyone can relate to this. By the way, if you don't relate to that, I'd like to know the other things that you do to kind of avoid stuff like that. So let me know that for sure. But yeah, I feel that for the most part, we all have this tendency to kind of just accept all of the positive things that we have going in our life as just like, oh, well, this is just life, you know. Of course, a life going well is, I mean, in hindsight, really worth noting. But if you think about it in practice, if life is going well and everything is working out, we really don't ever take any more. We really don't ever take any more time to focus on those good things. But if one little itty bitty thing goes wrong in our day, that will just chip away at us for the rest of our day, and sometimes even longer than that. Like one little negative slice will really mess up the rest of your day mentally and emotionally sometimes. And I've been having that happen lately. But the thing that really happened is that I realized that's what was happening. And I've been getting on this podcast and just kind of like venting about negative things that I've been experiencing, and just the thoughts that I've been wrestling with of self-doubt, and, you know, the whole identity crisis situation. When after I listened back to the identity crisis talk, I kind of realized that, man, I don't think I'm having an identity crisis as much as I'm just experiencing things that I've never experienced before. So I'm trying to label them as appropriately as possible with the things that I have experienced before. And if that makes any sense. And yeah, I'm finding that instead of having an identity crisis, really what's happening is that I'm growing. And the discomfort that I'm feeling is much like the lobster shell story that we've all heard, where a lobster's shell doesn't grow. Only the lobster inside the shell grows. So when the lobster reaches a certain level of discomfort in its own growth, only then does it know it's time to shed its shell and grow a new one. Without that discomfort and without the uncomfortability of the shell just not able to hold you anymore, only then does the lobster know it's time to shed its shell. So, like, that's where I've been. I'm going through this phase of growth, in my life, both emotionally and mentally. And it's come time for me to shed my shell. And in doing that, I mislabeled this new venture in my life as how did I put it? Just I just as an identity crisis. And the truth is yeah, I've struggled a little bit with the thought of where I'm at and where I'm headed, and am I doing everything I need to do to reach the destination I want to get to? But my destination mentally keeps changing. So I've really just started focusing less on the destination and more on the day to day, like living and just trying to do better and be better every day. And I don't always hit the mark. In fact, I've been doing a really good job of coming home every single night, not spending a dime on the way home, and coming home and cooking food that I've bought from the grocery store. And I did a really good job of that for, I don't know, about 3-4 weeks. But, I don't know, the birthday week came around. And by the way, thank you guys so much for all the birthday love. It was felt. The birthday week came around and everybody was like, here, go get yourself something good to eat. And I did that. And I've awoken the beast, and I went to my favorite I went to my favorite restaurant in Austin last night. Tyson's Tacos is my favorite. I love it so much. In my opinion, it's the greatest it's the best restaurant in Austin. And I haven't gone to a lot of places because that's not really my style. But for my money, Tyson's Tacos. So I went there last night and I got like so much tacos. And then after that, I ate tacos, and then I was like, man, I really got a sweet tooth. So I went into the gas station and just spent unnecessary funds on just a gas station sack of sweets. I was going to say junk food, but it's just sweets, candies and such. And I didn't need any of it, but I had a wild sweet tooth that I definitely curbed. But I just didn't need all that, but I got it anyway, and I justified it mentally by saying, oh, well, I've done so good. I've been doing so good lately. I deserve this. And that's such a dangerous mindset to find yourself in. It's like after you've been doing so good for so long, to reward yourself with the thing you've abstained from is such a dangerous mindset to get in. And I recognize this all too often in some of my friends who will abstain from something for a long period of time, and then just indulge in it once, and then all of a sudden you're back where you started, you know. And I'm ashamed of that about myself, that I've kind of put myself in a situation to where now I have stuff to cook here, which I'm going to do tonight after I finish this. And I'm going to start back on that path next week, from coming home and not spending any money or going anywhere on the way home. Just come home and cook what I have here, because I have food here. And I'm not gonna go hungry. So there's no point in spending money. But the other night I went to Raising Cane's because I really wanted some canes, and that was incredible, just like I remembered. and I enjoyed it. And then the night after that, I came home and cooked hot dogs. I did cook hot dogs that night. So I did good on Friday night. But then Saturday night, which was last night, bro, I swung for the fences last night, dude. I went and got 3 taco plates from Tyson's, which that's three taco plates, which is 9 tacos in total with rice and beans. And I was trying to get chips and queso, but they were out of queso as well. So I was like, But here's the thing. I actually got in line too, and this is another. Here is a thing that's sort of like a win-lose. It's kind of a win-win, but not exactly. I pull up. Tyson's is the type of place where you stand in a line and you wait until you get to the window and you make your order, and then you wait until they call your number, and then you go to a different window. But it's a standing line. And every time I would go to Tyson's, I would always see if there was any line at all, pretty much, I would just be like, fuck this, I'm not going. Because a line, they sometimes they run out of things. There's good tacos that they have like burn-ins that I like a lot that they will run out of if there's a big line and it's very busy. So I didn't want them to be out of the stuff I wanted, but I saw there was a long line there, and I said, I need to practice doing things like this, entering myself into uncomfortable situations, which just standing in a long line with people is a weird. I have a weird thing about it. I don't like standing in long lines, and then that's to be honest, that saying that right now is making me realize why I generally don't go sign up for Kill Tony, because I'm just not a huge fan of long lines. And so I was like, I really need to just practice doing stuff like this, just waiting in line with normal people. And I think that the real meat behind that is more sinister for me. Is I think I have this thing in me, and this is something that I'm not too comfortable sharing, but here we are. I try to always say something in. Excuse me, I got something going on in my throat here. Maybe I need just a sip of water. But I try to share something in all of these episodes that I've never really said publicly before. And this is definitely one of those things. I have a thought in my mind that makes me think, oh, I don't have to wait with all these normal people because I'm not a normal person. I don't have to. Oh, you mean all these dorks? They have to stand in line here and wait for something? Yeah, I'm not that. I'm not a guy who stands in line and waits. But the sinister part of that thought is that I think it's telling that I might put myself above other people mentally. And that's not who I want to be. Those aren't my intentions. And good Lord, what is going on here? Sorry, guys. I'm gonna keep clearing my throat. Hopefully, not. You know what? I'm actually gonna enjoy myself a little visual effects. I was saving this for when I'm done, but I need something in there to clear this out. I'm uncomfortable admitting that I think that about myself. Just the fact that the fact that I think myself to be better than anyone, is asinine. And it's because I'm not. And that's just the truth. But the fact that I have to, that I think, oh, I'm not going to stand in line with these people because I don't wait for anyone. I'm too important for that. When I'm not. I'm not too important for that. In fact, the fact that I think that kind of solidifies the argument that I'm not better than anyone. And we're all the same. And I shouldn't. And I think maybe that's something that I definitely need to work on. But it's something that I'm realizing now in real time, that this might be why some people feel that I have an abrasive vibe and others don't. Or maybe I don't show that all the time, and maybe, and honestly, maybe I'm over, what's the word? Maybe I'm, exaggerating that a bit. Maybe I'm exaggerating the, oh, I'm better than you thing, because I don't think that. I mean, I've thought that, and I do think that about some things, and I know that I shouldn't, but I do, and I think that everyone does. Everyone has a thought of themselves and where they stand in the tier of everything, and I've thought that about myself, but I don't think I'm alone in that, and not being alone in that doesn't warrant it, but I'm just saying that I think that maybe that's an involuntary thing that has happened. But the point of this stuff that I'm saying is to say that I am realizing that I have that in me, and I'm actively trying to do better about that. So maybe saying it out loud on here opens me up for a little bit of I'm spending a lot of time trying to think of the right word to say. I'll get better about that going forward, but I think that opens me up for a bit of accountability, to be held accountable. And to be honest, I'm not concerned or interested in being held accountable by anyone other than myself. But me saying this to myself here, because literally I'm just looking at myself here, and this is a long talk to yourself session that you guys get to sit in on. So I feel like I'm learning from myself. I taught myself how to play guitar. I taught myself how to do pretty much everything I've learned how to do. I'm a self-taught person. So I'm feeling like maybe this is the same. This is what I'm doing, or this is that. But yeah, I have a hard time. Dumbledore said something in Harry Potter once about like I often speak aloud to myself. Or it's incredibly useful in problem solving. And I like that thought, because crazy people talk to themselves. But I don't think that talking to yourself in a situation where you're trying to better yourself, or maybe see how something you want to say later sounds coming out, maybe that is crazy. But in that case, I'm crazy. But I've never hid that. That's not a secret. I'm a crazy person. You kidding me? I'm talking to myself right now into a camera, looking at it like it's you. By the way, very good to see you. But no, I'm trying my best to hold myself accountable for the things that I'm realizing I am guilty of that I would probably judge someone else for doing, which is not fair. And I guess I've just gotta come to terms with the fact that maybe I don't have all the answers. Maybe I'm not the best place to exclusively bounce my own growth off of. Maybe I should talk to a human about it. Maybe everybody's saying, oh man, you really need to go talk to somebody. You really need to go see like a doctor or a therapist or something like that. And I don't want to do that. And the reason I don't want to do that is because I don't want another human, because I am a human. I know how we can be. I don't want another one of me in my head tinkering with things, because I'm too susceptible to that, which is why I kind of have to label people kind of early on when I meet them as to, okay, this is someone who I should listen to and take advice from, or this is someone who I could probably, I don't know if I'll learn a lot from this person, or I don't know if I want to be altered by this person's input. And unfortunately, when I label someone like that, that sort of puts the thought in my mind of like, okay, this person isn't important. I don't have to listen to them, and I don't have to be around them. I don't have to cater to them in the way that would make them want to continue to be around me. I think I put that stigma too much on people. And I mean, maybe that's a nice defense mechanism that I've acquired over the years, which I think is likely. But maybe I need to just revise that filtration system. Like, revise the filter in which I pass someone through in my mind, because usually I do that in a very quick process. But I start everyone that I meet, I start them off at the top. I start everyone off with all the points, and I've told you guys this, and then according to how I see they move and how I see they act and all of this other nonsense, that's when I zero them into like, okay, I see what kind of person you are. I see who you are. I see how you move. I see your motivations. I see your actions. And another thing that I've been saying a lot lately that I kind of need to take my own advice on is that people are their actions, not their words. Because the mouth can say one thing while the hand does another. That's somewhere in the Bible. I'm not sure where. But not just there, but also just that's blatant wisdom. Is that your mouth can say one thing while the hand does another. So I really try to pay attention to what people do and pay attention to their actions. And that leads me to a place to where I guess what I'm saying is that I judge people and I shouldn't. And I don't know how to not. I don't know how to do that. I feel like I'm programmed to do that. And I don't like that reality. I don't like that truth. And I'm starting to like kind of question my own I'm starting to question my own validity. Like, who am I to look at someone and say, ugh, outside of the homeless, I'm judging the shit out of them and I'm not stopping. But who am I to look at somebody and say, oh, you're doing this thing wrong. You're doing life wrong. You're doing this part of your own life wrong. Like when it's their life and they have every right to live it how they want to, but it's not my job to run around and police everyone's actions. And I far too often find myself doing just that. Which again, hard thing to admit, but I'm here to do that. I'm here to admit this. Yeah, it's maybe I should just stop giving a shit what everybody else has going on and turn that switch off that automatically sees or hears something, and just like that lizard brain just starts clicking in like, oh, you're doing something bad. You're doing something that I don't approve of. And then just focus on that. And then bring that thing up to somebody who doesn't really even need to hear it. And then I'll mask all of that nonsense as like, hey, I want to ask you something. Like, I'll mask it in a certain way to where really I'm just trying to find out if someone feels like I'm looking for my own validation. I'm trying to figure out if someone else feels the way that I feel. And I do have a clever way of doing it. You know, I have a clever way of trying to find out if I'm correct or not. And that's really all any of this is just me seeking my own validation, or me seeking my own correctness. I want to be right. There was a thing that I said for a long time was that I would rather be right than liked. I'd rather be correct than liked. I don't care if someone is my friend or if I like someone or even if I love someone. Wrong is a thing that I've said. But then who am I to say what is right or what is wrong? Maybe my moralistic compass isn't as sound as I once thought it to be. Maybe I have no right to say to anyone, hey, you're doing this wrong. Or maybe I have no right to even think they're doing this wrong. Another thing that's very clear is in the Bible, which I've read twice, is that if you think a sin, it is just as bad as committing it. Because if you commit sin in your own mind, this means you're capable of it, which means that sin still lives in you. And the Bible ties religion to that. But if you remove the religion and all of that, is like if you have a bad thought in your mind, that means that bad thought lives within you. So what you do with that is who you are. You know, what you do with those things is who you are. But I don't think that you do yourself any favors by entertaining the thoughts of just getting in these circles, and then you end up finding out that someone else feels the same way that you feel about somebody or something. So then you just when you get together, you're just like, yeah, I saw this thing the other day that this person did or whatever. And it's just not, that's such a toxic, as I'm saying it, I'm disgusted with myself. As it's just such a toxic way to live life. And that's something that I don't support in other people. So why do I'm no better than anyone else? Why am I even close to allowing someone else? Or why am I even close to allowing myself to have these thoughts about someone else? Or even, I have no right to have these thoughts or even ask someone else questions about people. I have no right to meddle in anyone else's life. I have no right to do that. So I just really need to understand that I've got to focus on my own shit and move forward, because me focusing on these little itty bitty negative things like this person disrespected me, which I fucking hate. I hate it when someone disrespects me. It's the worst thing that you can do to me is disrespect me. Now that umbrella called disrespect has so many things underneath it that are disrespect. So there's many ways to do it, but I absolutely hate it, and I will not suffer that. I stick to that. And I don't care. Even in that case, if you disrespect me, all bets are off. If I'm disrespected by you and I pass it through all of these filters that I've set up over the years of feeling the way that I feel, then I'm going to be honest, that's on you, and I don't feel bad about it. But where the problem lies in me is, oh, well, this person did this thing that in theory could have been disrespectful, but I'm just running with it at that point. I'm just saying, I'm putting those disrespectful stickers out too liberally. And I need to be much more conservative with that and give people the benefit of the doubt more often, which I tend to do. But there's a few times, especially in the last few months, that I've just handed out those "you're disrespecting me" stickers far too liberally. And I'm not proud of that about myself. But I guess I can be a little proud of the fact that I'm like thinking about this now and thinking about it enough to want to do better and want to be better. So I guess there's a silver lining in that for sure. And I'll just have to work on this. And anytime that I will have like a thought of, I don't know how I feel about this person, I don't know why, there's just something weird about them, maybe I just need to just push all that to the side and just understand that there's people out there that feel that way about me, which drives me crazy. It drives me absolutely crazy to think that there are people out there who might feel the way that I feel about people I don't trust about me. And that just, that eats me alive. But in the same breath, I'm not in charge here. And I might have put myself in a situation to not be trusted by those people because I've maybe voiced my opinion too loudly or too often, or maybe I've shot myself in the foot is what I mean with some people, and maybe they are warranted in feeling the way that they feel about me, and maybe they're right, and maybe I'm wrong, and I don't like the way that tastes coming out, but it's a something that is likely true the more that I talk about it. And I don't want to be that guy that's just I don't want to be evil, man. And that's evil. That's not ideal behavior. And not proud of any of this stuff, man. I don't know why I ended up going down that road after I was talking about stepping back and looking at my life being kind of all right now. Yet I'm focusing on the wrong part. I'm focusing on the things that are not going well and kind of ignoring the things that are. But in focusing on the things that other people are not doing well and the things that other people could do better, focusing on that has indeed resulted in me not focusing on the things that I'm not doing well as much. That's not good. That's not what we want. And that's not going to help us grow. And growth is the goal. The goal is forward. The goal is up. Forward and up. That's the goal. And I don't think I'm going to help myself get there by continuing to I'm not going to help myself get there by continuing to focus on things that other people are doing in their lives. I'm not going to get there by feeling sorry for myself that I experienced this thing that no one else experienced. I got to stop out trauma-ing at people. Like, like in my mind, someone will tell me their trauma and I'll hear it and I'll just be like, that's nothing, bro. You have no idea what I lived through. And I got to stop doing that. I got to let all that shit go. I got to let the trauma go. I still don't plan to ever communicate with her again as long as I live, and I still hope every day that I find out that she's not with us anymore. But I got to let the stuff with my mom go. I got to let all of that stuff that I'm holding on to go, so that I can't hear something someone else says and say, "Oh, well, you didn't have this experience. You didn't have this experience like I had with my mother," or the stuff that I've talked about in previous episodes that I just don't want to bring up again because it's too much. I gotta stop leading. I gotta remove those layers of the filter. I gotta take that out of the. Did you guys see my filter situation? I just had like a big hopper. I gotta remove those portions of that filter because it doesn't matter what. They don't care anymore about what I went through that I do about what they went through. And by that, I don't mean it doesn't mean that I don't care. That's just the best way for me to describe what I'm thinking right now, is that they're as focused on the things that happened to them as I am to me. And the root of all of these thoughts and all of these feelings comes from me viewing myself in an elevated position to a lot of other people, which is not fair at all. And I'm not proud of that, and I don't like the fact that I said that, but it's the truth. And that's what this thing is supposed to be for me, is like this coming to a more rational and honest version of myself. Is kind of the underlying goal of me doing this podcast. So I want to make good on all that. I want all of that to, I want to make good on all of it, And I think this is doing that. I think this is helping. And honestly, this might change the way some people look at me and view me. And I deserve I deserve it. If that does happen and people hear me say these things and then they're like, "Oh man," like if it takes the if it removes the veil, then so be it. And I deserve what I get, Yeah, if that's the case, then I deserve everything that people think or feel about me. And I've got to come to terms with being okay with that. They feel the way that they feel about me, and I feel the way I feel about them. And we all have our rights to feel that. What I don't have the right to do is to use those things that I feel against that person. I don't have the right to do that. Especially if they haven't done anything like inherently terrible to me. I really have no right to do that. Even if I will, there's been times when there's been someone who has done nice things for me and good things for me, and I think, are they mocking me? Is this person mocking me right now? Are they mocking my situation? Am I being mocked? And that is just dug into my brain, and I think, oh, you're mocking me. I see. I'm being mocked. I'm being disrespected. And then the whole cycle begins, and I don't even focus on the fact that I'm doing all of these amazing things. Like, much as I loved Kill Tony before I moved here, and now I get to fucking hang out with the guys, and I'm complaining about anything. This is insane. This is literal insanity, man. It makes absolutely no sense that I allow myself to get to this point. But here is my declaration to stop that. This is me declaring that I am going to hold myself accountable in these thoughts. Because only other people can hold me accountable in my actions, because that's what they see. But only I can hold myself accountable to my thoughts. And that's where it has to start. You have to start from the inside. You have to start where the seedling, where these actions come into play. But this is also me kind of inviting anyone, if in my actions, to say, you might want to pump the brakes on that a little bit, because I need that. And I might not accept it, to be honest. I know me. I probably won't accept it, and it'll probably make me feel a certain way out of the gate. But after I think about it and run it through that filter I was telling you about, I'll realize, oh, this person's just looking out for me, and it'll give me a certain level of respect for that person that, you know, to just talk to me and let me know, yeah, that. Well, I don't know if I agree with that, or maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't think that way, or I don't know. I'm just rambling on that thought now, but I'm gonna do better about holding myself accountable for these things, is what I mean, and try to focus on the things that are going well rather than the things that are not. And I know that because once I did that episode last week of the identity crisis thing, so many people reached out, and I got a lot of nice, I got a lot of positive affirmations from a lot of people, and a lot of folks are seeing that maybe I haven't been doing so bad. Maybe I really did need to revisit my assessment of my current situation. Maybe that was in order. And a lot of people helped me see some things that I wasn't seeing about myself. And for that, I'm grateful. But I do need to, I did need to step back from the hypothetical table upon which all of the things in my life are laid upon, and look at all of it. And I've got the nasty corner that has all of the stuff that have really affected me negatively, but like truly affected me negatively, not like the things that I'm just making up a reason to have been disrespected in my mind because I already feel a certain way about someone and I'm just looking for something to confirm those feelings. But the things that actually happened to me, like the childhood stuff that I've talked about and the stuff with my mom and all of the other things, like all of that on the corner and the nasty corner where we just leave the nastiest stuff of our lives. And like, it's like looking at the table where everything else is neatly organized. And I think on my table it's pretty neatly organized because I'm so OCD about that sort of organization. That I walk up and all I can focus on is that negative corner, or all I can focus on are these little minute, don't even really matter negative things throughout the things in my life on this table. And I'm not even paying attention to all of the amazing parts of my life that, like, I'm going into my 3rd year in Austin. I'm sure a lot of people back home thought I would have come back home already. And somebody posted something on my Facebook page about, oh yeah, you can always come back home. You can always return, the prodigal son. You just need to come back home. And it's ironic because the person who sent this is one of the people who I have kind of seen things in and just gotten confirmation from everyone else around this person that a lot of them feel the same exact way. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm right. So I'm just writing this dude off. Like, I'm just writing this dude off in my life. Because I already have my own feelings and just certain things. And there's history to that thing. But it's just a thing where I'm out here and I'm showing the universe that being out here is something I'm willing to continue to do until I reach whatever destination I'm headed towards. And I think other people might, and I think in certain situations, man, people might be threatened by the fact that I'm doing this thing for myself because they're feeling some type of way about, oh, well, they're not doing it in their own lives, so I shouldn't either, which is kind of how I'm describing myself. Is this just a big circle and I'm realizing that I'm the thing that I hate? I think that's what it is. I think that's what's happening. But in my defense, the person that I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I got to stop doing that shit. I got to stop letting those thoughts win. But I know that there's a lot of people who thought when I left that I would be gone for a little while, but I would come back because that's what people do where I'm from. People leave for a little while, but they always end up coming back. And that's just a thing. Like people will always say, oh yeah, go on up to Nashville and see if you can make it up there. But they always end up back in the inlet. Oh, go out to California, go out to LA and see how you enjoy that. They always end up back in the inlet. And I did not, and I refused to be one of those who left to chase my dreams and gave up. I am not giving up on my dreams, dude. Not giving up on this thing, bro. Just like that Jelly Roll thing I referenced in the last thing where he's won New Artist of the Year at 40, man, and I'm 38 now. That means I got a couple of years to put myself in a position to win Best New Artist of the Year. I think that's in my future. Am I crazy? I think that I have that in my future. I believe that I can do that, man. I really believe that I could do that. And I think that belief that I can do that is what has kept me here when everything else would have said, hey, go back home. Get your money right. Come back. Visit. Go back home, make money, and just visit here. But I wouldn't be here, man. I would just be a tourist. And I don't want to be a tourist. I want to live here in the place where people come to follow their dreams. It used to be New York, used to be LA, now it is Austin. And I am here in it. And not only am I here in it, but I have earned the respect of some of the most important people in the city, man. Some of the most important people in the scene of our city. And I've earned their respect. And man, that's what I need to focus on. I need to lead with that mentally. And I don't need to lead with that as well, I've earned the respect of everybody in the city that matters, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to lead like that. I need to lead with the fact that, hey, you have earned the respect of everyone in the city by being a certain person and acting a certain way. So you need to toe the line, and you have more of a responsibility to do the right thing and be a good person than other people do because of your position in this. That's what I need to be telling myself. And those are just things that I need to hear, I think. Those are just things that I need to implement more in my filter of what I run everything that occurs to me in my life through. And the people from which those things came from. I need to do better. But saying it doesn't do anything until you put it into action. So I've just really got to start doing better. I've really got to put words, or I've really got to put actions behind these words. So that's what I'm going to do. And this is my declaration of that. This is the Declaration of Accountability. Oh, that's a good title. We're going to make that. That's going to be the title for this one. Yeah. I love it when I have these realizations about myself in real time. And I feel good that I've gotten the thing off my chest about the things that I'm not proud about admitting, that I might view myself at an elevated position to other people. And that's not fair. I do feel like in my defense, and I don't know if this is an excuse, but in my defense, I do feel like I have I'm pretty self-aware about my place in the hierarchy of this life. So I feel like that justifies, I feel like that wrongfully justifies me saying, oh, well, I know this person deserves to be here because I'm putting myself here when there's so many people above me. So I mean, like I've got to stop thinking of things as above and below and just together. Like we're all together on the same plane, on the same level. And I've really got to get better about that. So this is my declaration of the accountability of all of those things that I'm talking about. So just if you see me out in the world, know that I'm doing my best. And if you see that demon rear its head, then know that I'm trying. I'm making an effort, and it won't happen overnight. Or it might. Who knows? It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. And I give myself my word on that. And you guys. Anyway, I'm going to cap it right there. I'm trying to keep these things around an hour, and I believe that's where we're at now. I will ask that if it is not too much trouble to please follow the podcast everywhere podcasts are available and leave a review, share it wherever you do your social media. It doesn't matter if you have 10 million followers or 10 or none. Just the fact that someone clicks that share button and posts it somewhere else helps out in the algorithm in ways that I don't understand, but definitely those are real things. Also, if you're watching, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and be sure to have the notification bell clicked so that when we go live or post a new video, you will be notified. It costs you absolutely nothing to do any of those things, and it helps me out immensely. Share the video as well. Same deal with the followers. Doesn't matter how many you have. If you just click share and post it out somewhere, like that helps out so much. If you guys do want to help further, there's a way to do that. There's the top link in the description where you can tip Frankie, and we don't have to pay YouTube's 30% cut with any of those tips. Also, there are memberships with Patreon and with YouTube. You can become a Patreon pudding. Those are $5 and $10 tiers, and then there's a YouTube member, which is just one go, $4.99, cut and dry. You get a lot of the same stuff the Patreon gets. The Patreon gets a couple of extra things for the $10 tier, But yeah, I think that's all I got for you. I don't mean to be a shill, by the way. I don't mean to shill these things out, but like I've really been on the path to monetization for so long, and now that I'm finally there, I would be a fool not to say, hey guys, help out if you can. It would really help and mean a lot. So I'd be a fool not to utilize this, is what I mean. So please forgive me for being such a shill. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Like video, subscribe to the channel, follow the podcast, leave a review, and be good people. Do something nice for somebody this week, and don't tell anybody that you did it. Just do it, be done with it, and move on with your life. See you guys next week.